This is Retail 101 News, the weekly roundup show, brought to you by Mark Lack. The format for this weekend show is to look at 3 stories in 5 different news categories from the world of retail. At the end, there will also be a main story and an opinion piece from myself. Let's get into those headlines, shall we? Rather than doing the news this week, I thought it would be an opportune time to look at the UK election and the manifestos of the largest parties to see how it will impact retail. Here's an overview of the current UK political parties' manifestos as they stand in 2024, highlighting key policies and commitments across various sectors. The Conservative Party Manifesto. The Conservative Party's manifesto focuses on economic stability and growth, emphasising fiscal prudence and cautious public spending. Key points include: number 1, Brexit and trade. Committing to finalising Brexit and establishing strong trade agreements to boost the UK economy. The Conservatives promise no extension of the Brexit transition period, ensuring that trade deals are finalised by the end of the year. Number 2, public services. Pledging £2.9 billion extra annually for public services, focusing on the NHS, police and schools. They aim to address cuts made by previous governments and restore essential services. Number 3, immigration. Promising to reduce net migration and tighten immigration controls, although specific targets are not set. Number 4, energy and climate change. Supporting a mix of energy sources, including nuclear, renewables and some fossil fuels, with a commitment to achieving net zero carbon emissions by 2050. The Labour Party Manifesto. Labour's manifesto is characterised by ambitious social reforms and significant increases in public spending to address inequality and improve public services. Number 1, health and social care. Committing to reduce waiting times and improve early diagnosis by increasing operations and introducing more state-of-the-art medical equipment. Labour also plans to recruit 8,500 additional mental health staff and reform NHS contracts to ensure better access to care. Number 2, crime and safety. Introducing a new crime prevention strategy with more neighbourhood police, tougher action on shoplifting and specific measures to protect women and girls from violence. Labour aims to recruit more detectives and prosecutors to improve crime solving and justice delivery. Number 3, education. Enhancing early years childcare and recruiting more teachers to address shortages, particularly in subjects like science and maths. They also propose reforms to Ofsted for better accountability and support for schools. Number 4, energy and climate change. Labour plans to significantly boost renewable energy investments, aiming for a rapid transition to a green economy and achieving net zero emissions by 2030. The Liberal Democrats Manifesto. The Liberal Democrats position themselves between the Conservatives and Labour, advocating for moderate public spending increases and a pro-EU stance. Number 1, Brexit. Committing to stop Brexit altogether if they win a majority, which could be controversial but is aimed at preventing economic and social disruptions associated with leaving the EU. Number 2, public services. Promising an additional £50 billion annually for public services, focusing on health, education and welfare. This includes plans to improve mental health services and early years education. Number 3, climate change. Strong emphasis on environmental policies with substantial investments in renewable energy and a target of net zero by 2045. The Liberal Democrats also support banning all fossil fuel-based energy production by 2030. Number 4, economy. Proposing a fairer tax system to support public service spending, including closing tax loopholes and ensuring multinational corporations pay their fair share. The Green Party Manifesto. The Green Party continues its focus on environmental sustainability and social justice. Number 1. Climate action. The Green Party proposes the most aggressive climate policies, aiming for net zero carbon emissions by 2030. They plan to invest heavily in renewable energy, public transport, and sustainable agriculture. Number 2. Social policies. Advocating for a universal basic income, significant improvements to public housing, and increased funding for the NHS as well as education. Number 3. Economic reform. The Greens propose a fairer tax system targeting wealth redistribution to reduce inequality and support green initiatives. The Scottish National Party, SNP Manifesto. The SNP's manifesto focuses on Scottish independence and progressive social policies. Number 1. Independence. Pledging to hold another referendum on Scottish independence, aiming to rejoin the EU as an independent country. Number 2. Public services. Committing to protect and enhance public services in Scotland with significant investments in health, education and social care. Number 3. Climate change. Emphasising Scotland's renewable energy potential, the SNP aims for net zero emissions by 2045 and supports substantial investments in green technologies. In my opinion, if we look at this from a retail perspective, retail managers can focus on key aspects such as sustainability, employee welfare and community engagement. We should be looking at implementing energy-efficient practices, supporting fair wages and working conditions, as well as participating in local community initiatives that can reflect and take full advantage of the main political parties' commitments on a smaller scale. By encouraging sustainable practices and fostering a positive, inclusive work environment, this will align us with the broader goals of equity and environmental responsibility resonating with both employees and customers. In any case, your responsibility is just to vote. Thank you for tuning in to this weekend's news roundup from Retail 101 News. If you have a news story that you want to appear in the main news one weekend, you know where to find me. Don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe to our channel, and hit the notification bell to stay updated on the latest news from the world of retail. Until next time, keep retail savvy, stay informed, and have a fantastic weekend.